This video falls under fair use. Fair use allows commentary, criticism, and reactions. What's up, back with another one. So today, I'm going to show you this clip of Cam'ron exposing Dame Dash's finances.
And I want to talk about that because you know, I noticed on that interview at the Breakfast Club, Daniel was talking about some other stuff, and Chatty Patty got up twice to go back to tap Daniel to say something about my wife and my family and her situation, which we didn't want out there. It was a private situation. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about talking about chatty patties, you was a chatty patty and you got up and tapped that man on his shoulder and asked that man, hey, you want to go ahead and talk about that now? You want to talk about Larry's situation? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's a chatty patty. That's what, if you listen close, Charlamagne the God said, look at you being the chatty patty. Mm-hmm. That's what the he is, a chat. My gloves is off today. So I'm sorry. I'm a little heated about that because I felt like that violated.
Because, Sin, you grew up with Dame. You know sometimes it can be overwhelming. That don't mean I ain't love him. That don't mean I ain't his friend. That don't mean I ain't with him. None of this. Every interview for the last 20 years, all I've done is giving this man props on how he's helped me. But when you keep pushing my buttons on the internet and I did nothing to you, and then not only don't come back on you on the internet, all I do is just don't pick the phone up. I'll be like, I'm just not picking the phone up. That's just that. And then you keep poking me, pause. And my side, I'm like, all right, what you want me to do? All right, be Cam. Now I got to be Cam. And that's how we out here. So no, I don't feel bad. Because according to Dame, all he do is make $100 million companies. He'd say, yo, I sold ROC-A-FELLA for $100 million. ROC-A-WAY $100 million. I'll make another $100 million company. Why are we dwelling on this if that's all you do?
Where the money at? Where the money at, man? Where it go? Where the real money go? Where the money go, Cam? I'm being honest with you. I want to know what get $100 million. I know it's taxes and where the money at.
Well,
Larry, it's not fly to have money. It's fly to
I'm just trying to figure out where the money is. You get $100 million.
Learn what Dame said.
Well, listen, Larry. According to Dame, we not real men talk about other men's expenses.
Well, I want to talk about that. I'm sorry, Sin. I want to talk about that because you know, I noticed on that interview at the Breakfast Club, Daniel was talking about some other stuff, and Chatty Patty got up twice to go back to tap Daniel to say something about my wife and my family and her situation, which we didn't want out there. It was a private situation. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about talking about chatty patties, you was a chatty patty and you got up and tapped that man on his shoulder and asked that man, hey, you want to go ahead and talk about that now? You want to talk about Larry's situation? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's a chatty patty. That's what, if you listen close, Charlamagne the God said, look at you being the chatty patty. Mm-hmm. That's what the he is, a chat.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that in a minute. We're going to get to I was going to get to all that, man.
My bad.
No, yo, you got to express yourself. I ain't mad at you. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But go ahead, son.
Would it be so bad if he was the chairman at Revolt? Because let me tell you something about people. I would say about 70-30 people believe that he's not, and there's 30% that believe that he is, because they like, yo, he got the proof, he got the texts, he got the break it down, you know. And well, first answer, would it be so bad if he was the chair, if he was made the chairman at Revolt, and then second, break down the story, because a lot of people don't know what to think.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, Dame is always going to sound smart to a stupid. That's just the way he's very highly educated, has a great vocabulary, knows how to talks very well, over talks people. So to who ain't paying attention, he always going to sound smart. And not in a dumb either. Dame's smart in general, very smart guy. So let's do the first thing. Would it be bad if he's the chairman of Revolt? I don't give a no disrespect to Revolt. I don't work for Revolt. I license my show back here, Talk with Flea, to them down there, Revolt. I don't work for Revolt. So if he's the chairman of Revolt, or if he thinks he's the chairman of Revolt, I just think he's a man sitting in a chair. You see, at the end of the day, if you think
What's up? So what are my thoughts about this? Here's the thing. Listening to Cam'ron break down his perspective on Dame Dash really gives you a look behind the curtain of how complicated relationships in the industry can get, especially when it comes to money and public perception. Cam'ron makes it clear that just because he grew up with Dame doesn't mean he automatically agrees with everything Dame does or says. And that's a point a lot of people miss when they assume loyalty is unconditional. The most interesting part, of course, is the discussion about Dame's net worth. Cam'ron lays out the skepticism that a lot of people probably feel when they hear about these $100 million deals, selling companies for big numbers, and constantly building up new ventures. He's asking the question that fans often wonder, but rarely get answered: if all that money is supposedly moving around, where is it actually going? Taxes, expenses, and the reality of business deals make it much less clear than the flashy headlines suggest, and Cam'ron doesn't hold back in pointing that out. Beyond the money, there's also a lot about personal boundaries and respect. The Breakfast Club incident gets brought up, and Cam'ron calls out what he sees as a violation of privacy, emphasizing that crossing those lines matters even in a world where drama often sells. Finally, Cam'ron notes that Dame is extremely smart and articulate, which can make him sound even more impressive than he may be in certain contexts.